This is the hardest update we never wanted to share today. We received the update that none of us ever wanted to hear. Ojai Raptor Center has confirmed that patient bald eagle 26,519, known to all of us simply as Jackie, passed away in the early hours of this morning after more than 3 weeks of intensive medical care. According to the veterinary team, her condition had continued to deteriorate over the past several days, despite intensive treatment, consultation with specialists, oxygen therapy, supportive care, and around-the-clock monitoring in their intensive care unit. Her remains have now been transferred to the care of the California Department of Fish and Wildlife, and Ojai has announced that a more comprehensive statement, including additional information about her treatments and test results, will be released in the future. For weeks, millions of people around the world have been hoping for the same thing, that somehow, some way, Jackie would find the strength to recover. Every official update from Ojai Raptor Center became a moment of hope. Every small improvement reminded us not to give up, and every setback brought new questions about what she was facing. For many of us, those words were incredibly difficult to read, not simply because a bald eagle had died, but because Jackie had become so much more than that. She had become part of our daily lives, a symbol of resilience, a devoted mother, a fierce defender of her territory, and an ambassador for wildlife, inspiring countless people who had never before followed the life of a wild eagle. Today, our hearts are with everyone who loved her, with the volunteers who watched over her nest year after year, with the veterinary team that fought tirelessly to save her, with Shadow, and with the millions of people around the world who quietly hoped that this story might still have a different ending. When Jackie first arrived at Ojai Raptor Center, no one outside the medical team knew exactly what lay ahead. What we did know was that she had suffered severe injuries following a territorial conflict and required immediate specialized care. Over the weeks that followed, Ojai shared only carefully verified medical updates. Each one revealed another piece of an extraordinarily complex case. We learned that her packed cell volume, known as PCV, one of the most important measurements of oxygen-carrying red blood cells, had dropped to critically low levels. At one point, it fell below 6%. Later, it showed a modest increase. Those numbers gave many of us hope, but they also reminded us how fragile her condition remained. As the veterinary team repeatedly emphasized, recovery is never determined by a single laboratory value. Healing depends on the entire patient, and in Jackie's case, her body was fighting an incredibly difficult battle. As the days passed, specialists from multiple agencies worked together, evaluating every new piece of information they could gather. Behind every official update was a tremendous amount of work that the public would never fully see. Countless examinations, continuous monitoring, critical decisions made hour by hour. Every treatment carefully weighed against what would give Jackie the best possible chance. In today's statement, Ojai made something very clear. Throughout Jackie's time in their care, every decision was guided by the available medical evidence, by her welfare, and by their responsibility to do what was in her best interest. Those words matter, because they remind us that medicine is not only about technology, it is also about compassion, about knowing when to keep fighting, and about making every decision with dignity for the patient entrusted to your care. Sadly, despite everything that was done, Jackie's condition continued to worsen during her final days. This morning, her fight came to an end. But while Jackie's life has ended, her story has not, because what she gave to millions of people reaches far beyond these final weeks. And before we say goodbye, there is one more journey worth taking together. Not through the hospital, but through the remarkable life that made Jackie one of the most beloved bald eagles in the world. When we think about Jackie today, it's easy to focus on these final weeks, the rescue, the medical updates, the uncertainty, and now, the heartbreak. But those few weeks are only a tiny chapter in a story that has been unfolding for years. Long before she became patient 26-519, she was simply Jackie, a wild bald eagle who chose Big Bear as her home. Season after season, she faced snowstorms that covered the nest in ice, powerful winds that shook the towering pine where she raised her family, countless challenges that most of us could never imagine. Yet somehow, she always seemed to endure. We celebrated the arrival of new eggs. We held our breath during difficult hatch seasons. We smiled at the first tiny chirps from hungry chicks. And year after year, we witnessed the extraordinary determination of a mother doing everything she could to give her young the best possible chance to survive. Without ever speaking a single word, Jackie taught millions of people something about patience, about resilience, about devotion, and about the quiet strength that exists in the natural world. She reminded us that wildlife isn't just something we read about. It's something we can care about deeply, even from thousands of miles away. Her final battle also revealed something else. It showed just how many people were willing to fight for one wild eagle. Veterinarians, wildlife rehabilitators, specialists from multiple agencies, volunteers, conservation organizations, and an online community that stretched across continents. Sadly, that wish was not granted. But perhaps the measure of a life isn't whether every battle is won. Perhaps it's how many lives are changed because that life existed in the first place. By that measure, Jackie's life was extraordinary. Ojai Raptor Center also shared something deeply meaningful in today's statement. They wrote that caring for Jackie had been an extraordinary privilege, and that every medical decision they made was guided by the evidence, by her welfare, and by what they believed was in her best interest. Those words reflect something important. Even when medicine cannot change the outcome, it can still provide comfort, compassion, and dignity. Jackie did not spend her final days alone. She was surrounded by people who never stopped trying to help her, who continued searching for answers, who remained beside her until the very end. For that, every one of us owes them our gratitude. In the coming days, Ojai has said they will release a more comprehensive report, including additional information about Jackie's treatments and medical test results. When that information becomes available, we will continue to share it with the same commitment that has guided this series from the very beginning, because Jackie deserves nothing less. And finally, a few words for Shadow. Although we can never know what a wild eagle experiences in the way humans do, we do know that Jackie and Shadow spent years defending their territory together, building nests, raising chicks, facing storms, and returning to the same mountain season after season. Her wings may now be at rest, but the impact she made will continue to soar. Thank you, Jackie. Rest peacefully. You will never be forgotten.